In today's video, I will show you a little trick to recycle a plastic bottle and some pieces of water pipe into a highly convenient and airtight homemade smoking device. This project is very simple, using easy-to-find materials, but requires a bit of skill in the cutting and assembling process. First, we need to process the body of the device. Here I am using a small piece of PVC pipe and a heat gun to heat one end of the pipe. The high temperature will soften and expand the PVC plastic. The purpose of this is to widen the mouth of the pipe, allowing it to fit snugly over another object. When the plastic is soft, I quickly insert the handle of a screwdriver to shape it. You need to work really fast before the plastic cools down and hardens. Flaring the pipe like this will create a perfectly fitting connector without having to buy specialized fittings. Next, we prepare the water chamber. I use an empty plastic bottle. The bottle cap will be removed, and instead, I insert the PVC pipe we just flared into the mouth of the bottle. Thanks to the expanded plastic, it fits extremely tightly and securely around the bottleneck, ensuring it is completely airtight. To create a path for the smoke, I use a soldering iron to melt a small hole in the body of the bottle. Using heat to make a hole in a plastic bottle is better than using a knife, because it keeps the edges of the hole rounded, preventing the bottle from cracking or tearing when inserting the tube. The most important part is creating the bowl. I utilize a thin piece of aluminum tubing and a brass nut. To cut the aluminum tube evenly, I use an angle grinder to make an angled cut, then use a grinding bit to create slits at the tail end of the tube. These slits will help the smoke diffuse more evenly in the water. Once the parts are carefully ground and polished, I attach the brass nut to the head of the aluminum tube to serve as the bowl for the tobacco. This brass nut fits perfectly and has good heat resistance, making it very safe when lit. Now, let's assemble everything together. Pour an adequate amount of water into the plastic bottle. Pierce the aluminum tube, holding the brass bowl through the hole melted on the body of the bottle. Make sure the tail end of the aluminum tube is submerged deep under the water level so the smoke is filtered through the water most effectively. For the mouthpiece, I use the top half of another plastic bottle, slipping it over the other end of the PVC pipe to provide comfort during use. And here is the result. When you light it and inhale, the suction will draw the smoke from the brass bowl down through the aluminum tube, bubbling through the water layer in the bottle to cool down and filter out dust, before traveling up the PVC pipe. A perfect, airtight homemade device that works incredibly effectively, using items that seemed ready to be thrown away. Repurposing old items is not only creative, but also a very practical way to save money. If you find this project interesting, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support me in releasing future videos. Thank you for watching.